will be about a continuation of what we had with our guest, where we talk about where the opposition is heading and the allegation of disruption or destruction, intentional destruction, grounding of opposition voices, as far as opposition parties are involved in Nigeria. And the latest was what was made by P2B of the Labour Party yesterday. At a function where he said the president, or the government rather, is responsible for that. That even if you allow them, they will put hands in your family, because they lie, they feed on propaganda, and they are really dealing with the opposition parties now. If that is a good call to make, many persons, bear their minds on that, and we allow you to take a look at that conversation. What politically exposed persons think, from different parts of the divide. If President Tinubu's led government should be blamed for the problems in other political parties in Nigeria. Take a look. All right, thank you for staying with us. The conversation is about the accusation made by the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last election, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, where he said the government of the day, he's the one putting fire even in his own Labour Party. And part of what he said was this. They said that he said, you speak the truth and they call you names. We now live in a country of propaganda and lies. They are trying to put problems everywhere. They want to even put problems in families. Talking about how the government of the day is trying to silence the voice of opposition and, having problems created in different political parties. And then, we have former publicity secretary of the PDP with us, Prince Adeyemi. And of course, in the studios now, we are being joined by a former gubernatorial candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Thank you for joining us, sir.
A pleasure to be here with you always. Thank you.
All right. Before I come to you, there was a situation, in which I described that the moment people in the opposition party start to change their song, they visit the president before know what's happening, they switch allegiance. And the latest is Segun Showumi of the PDP, who said he has a mind of his own, and then he can always exercise his right. And President Adeyemi, I now said that their delegates, they have visited the president as well in Lagos, the governor, his other brother, Dr. Deji Adeleke, one of their children, Afrobeat star Davido, as well, was in that convoy. And you were trying to say the same visit, Segun Showumi made in the same Lagos, to the same president. And Prince Adeyemi, I was now saying, isn't that double standard, for people to praise Adeleke or to say, oh, it's okay for Adeleke because he's a governor, but it's not okay for Segun Showumi? You are going to land on that point. Please go ahead, Prince.
Yeah, thank you very much. You cannot compare the governor with Segun Showumi. Just like I said, Segun Showumi symbolizes the opposition in the person of Atiku Abubakar. He's the face of Atiku Abubakar, as far as we know, being a spokesperson. I will not want to use the word enemy, but let me say a friend to my opponent is my opponent. The usual say, a friend to my enemy is my enemy. No, a friend to my opponent is my opponent. Showumi said it on TV yesterday that he is an adult. He has every right to choose who he feels it or who he associates with. Fine. But you are talking of moral here, or you are talking of the message you are sending to the people with your presence. We are talking of integrity. Those are the things I'm saying are lacking. As for Adeleke, Adeleke is a governor. Actually, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is never his opponent, as you know. And they don't have, they do have a lot of common things to discuss. As a governor to a president, everybody will want the federal government facilities to be brought to their state. And is there any wrong if a governor now visits the president to discuss the interest of his state with the president? No. What has Shoumi got to do with the president's visit is what I am saying. It's not that he has no right. He has the right. But morally, and the message he's sending, to Nigeria, they are not the same.
All right, and I'm sure many persons will disagree with that, but I have Architect Gokumigbodun here. Before I ask you that same question, let's start from the real topic. Peter Obi has accused the president of having his hands everywhere, including his own party. But many persons will say, are people not blaming Tinubu for so many things, even if it's not his fault? How can you be saying your neighbor is a problem in your own compound? How so?
Well, Femi, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, now President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is a consummate politician. And as a politician, you should naturally be all about putting your house in order to capture or to earn power, as the case may be. Capture is more like it in Nigeria, and therefore to be able to establish government and make sure that you provide good governance for the people. At the same time, you are also to make sure that you disorientate other political forces that would also ordinarily be seeking to disorientate yours, and therefore it's a game. And at the end of the day, most unfortunately in Nigeria, that is the part, that's not what we are discussing now, but let me just quickly drop that. We have the winner takes all, which is far different from what we would have in a true federalism, whether in a parliamentary or presidential system. In fact, we still fared a lot better with the parliamentary system, because at least there will be the minority also holding some portfolios in government. But now it's winner takes all. So the moment the winner now takes all, he deploys now the resources of state. So it goes beyond the resources of his political party now to make sure that he inflicts further injury on other political forces ahead of future elections. So what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing is ordinarily not out of place for a consummate politician who had never pretended about the fact that he is more of a politician than a good governance, either advocate or practitioner. So the man is not interested in governing Nigeria right. He's interested in Emilokon. My party must remain in power now that we have it. So I don't know why we are blaming this man about this. Yes, I agree with Peter Obi. Not only do I agree with him, I also have my own allegation and take it to the market that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the one that is putting fire in the house of Afenifere.
How do you mean? How do you mean?
I mean exactly those words, and in the same sense that Peter, I am making an allegation is different.
Yes,
I have in fact said people should stop blaming him. The president is supposed to be the father of the nation, but the state resources that he should be deploying to ensure good governance is now deploying into making sure that he stifles opposition parties and he strengthens his own political party. He is engaged in what in simple terminologies is called prebendalism. And he never pretended right from the beginning. Absolutely. So it's about me, my family members. Now, for the first time in history, we are having the first son of Nigeria, and he's so prominent, deploying resources that...
Oh, sorry, there is no office of the first son, like you mentioned. There is no office.
You and I know that somebody goes around and is being described by media, whether conventional or social media, as the first son. And he's going around with private jets, presidential jets. See, what I do is to make allegations. And I try to avoid the blame. I am not blaming the president. It is the system that allows him to do that. And I will not like us to digress too much. Otherwise, I will digress into what I really always want to discuss. I do not like discussing persons like Bola Tinubu, even if he's president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
But he's the president.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I would rather discuss, maybe I don't sound like somebody who was asked in WAEC, write about Jesus Christ. He said, who am I to write about my Lord? I would rather write about John the Baptist. Let me anchor some certain thoughts, and then you can now go to where you want to go. What we require in this country is the restructuring of the country such that one party getting into power would not have all the absolute powers to now consummately be destroying other political parties and be tending towards a one-party state, especially in a poor country like Nigeria. So it's not just about Bola Tinubu being president today. Didn't it happen under Goodluck Jonathan, president then of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? So it's just now happening in a way where you now have somebody who understands how to play politics with resources, now has the resources at his disposal and is playing it to the optimum. So you now said, and I said, don't blame him. It's the system that has empowered him so to do. You now said, shouldn't the others be trying to put their house in order? Yes, they would be trying to put their house in order. I have just told you about Afenifere. Yes, we are trying to put our house in order too in Afenifere. I dare say that I know that Peter Obi is struggling, is everywhere. You see it, that he's trying to put the house of Labour Party in order. You could see that certain persons have been struggling within the PDP to put the house of PDP in order. But look, let me tell you, PDP is virtually dead now. The very soul of it is dead. What we are seeing now is a body, a carcass moving around. And with, you just mentioned it, the invitation of Segun Sowunmi. I only know him from a distance. Right. Okay, we have mutual friends. But when you send this link to me, I will send it to him to watch. That he should be careful so that he is not misunderstood. I don't see anything wrong in his visiting the president. If he had always known the president, even before he became governor, as he claims. And so would it now be that, so Femi, the day you become governor of your state or president, and we've known each other like this, you've invited me to programs, so I can't anymore be your friend? I don't think that should be. But what Segun Sowunmi should be careful about is that he does not fall into certain traps that he had openly criticized concerning Daniel Bwala.
You know, I had to ask you the issue with P2B because I knew you worked for him at the last election.
Oh, definitely.
And, you know, if he's now going about, he has done many interventions and all of those things, crisscrossing the country and, you know, doing what he knows how to do, according to him, his conscience. Now, he's the one that doesn't really talk. If you look at him and his trajectory, doesn't really talk political parties like that. So for somebody like P2B to now come out and is blaming Tinubu, the question is,
is it blame Tinubu?
Hold on, sir.
He just made an allegation.
Hold on,
a
sir.
Similar one that I have made here just now.
It's okay. What I'm saying is this, sir. Please listen. Is the fact that should Tinubu, is it his business to strengthen opposition in Nigeria? Is it his business to make sure, oh, you guys must be good. If you're having a fight, please don't fight. If you're having official issues, please don't do that. So why are the politicians heaping all the blames on the man and the government?
I think it is the press. And
how?
Femi,
how do you mean?
You are also going along that line now.
Why? Because you are putting this on us?
Yes, I'm putting it on you because you are the ones using the word blame.
Tell me.
I said Peter
Should I read what Peter Obi said
an allegation.
We are not the one who said it. Peter Obi said it. And
I've just told you I have made my own allegation too now about putting his hands into Afenifere and causing division in Afenifere. So I will be shocked. If
and you have your reasons why he's doing that. You have your facts.
I will not be shocked if somebody goes to town and says, Omigbodo blames Tinubu for the woes of Afenifere.
Are we doing semantics here?
I am not blaming him. I am alleging that this is what he has done.
You are allegedly blaming him. Is that
no? I am not blaming him. We are not saying the same thing. It's different.
Let me land here. Here's what I mean.
Let me before you anchor, let me anchor. Please. The difference, because this is an issue of semantics, the difference between allegations and blames are that, yes, these are facts, okay? But I take responsibility that I must make a difference. That's not blaming anybody. But these are facts. Go and tell him, he must stop. He is not going to stop. I am not going to blame him for putting his hands into Afenifere. What we should do in Afenifere is cut off his hand. That is it. So the same thing for Peter Obi. Let him also look inwards within
and cut that hand off.
Cut off the hand. And such things you do mercilessly within the limits of the law.
But it can only be done by the polls, isn't it?
By the what?
At the polls.
At election.
No. There's the difference between the... You are mixing so many things.
I know. You are talking about
There's the difference between the politicking and the elections and the governance. Those are three different things. Okay? And I am saying, I am alleging. And I am not blaming him because anybody who is there right now because the system provides for him so to do.
What are you alleging?
Would use the resources of the state to play politics because everything is at his disposal. In fact, not only that, at his disposal because of it's a presidential system. We also run a unitary presidential system where the president of the Federal Republic controls 53% of all the resources of the country through the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee. 36 states and FCT are supposed to share 27%.
All right.
773 local governments, because I understand a 774th local government has been completely taken out of the sovereignty of Nigeria, are supposed to share 20%. Now, that very smart politician has now gone into a court, Supreme Court, to say, make this order that we should even bypass the state in the deploying of the resources of the local government, so that I, the emperor, and the commander-in-chief of all the resources can now deploy 73% because I hold on to my 53% and another 20%.
He didn't say that later part.
Added to
he
it.
never said that later part.
You said a lot of things. I hope you...
Yes, when you are alleged, you are saying this is what you are doing. These are facts. The blame is when you now don't hold responsibility.
Yes, my point.
Okay, let me tell you.
Hold on.
Femi would understand this proverb. I don't know if you would. Ani alagbara ló ń gbàyàwó ọ̀lẹ. Which means that a powerful man, a rich man, can take over the wife of a poor man. Now, if a poor man would now be blaming the rich man rather than going to work harder or cutting off that wife and marrying another wife, he has his responsibilities. That is what I am saying. So it is not blaming, it is allegations. You analyze. Look, I was trained in strategic thinking, and I know you do a lot of SWOT analysis, your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. When you look at them, look at your strength, your limited strength, look at your weaknesses, look at the opportunities you can have to strike, and look at the threats that can block the striking. One of the opportunities you have mentioned is at the polls. And what I think the people of Nigeria, because at the end of the day, the people of Nigeria will be the ones that will suffer. So the people of Nigeria, I would answer you. I would answer you. I want to do.
We are due for a break, sir.
All right. Should I finish this sentence?
We are due for a break. Our producers are telling us. Yeah, we are due for a break. And of course, we still have Prince Dinodemi at the other hand, who actually, I'm sure he will want to answer Architect Omigbodo, who said the PDP is practically dead and just moving around with carcasses. But that will be after now.
born Jeremiah Oyeni Obafemi on March 6, 1909. Obafemi Awolowo was a prime architect of Nigeria's independence and most consummate advocate of free education and social welfare in Africa's most populous nation. Erudite politician, thinker and philosopher, Awo was fondly addressed by associates and political colleagues, brought his unique attributes to bear on governance in the defunct Western region. He administered as leader of government business and the premier between 1955 and 1958. Obafemi Awolowo's premiership witnessed pioneering in multi-sectoral policy initiatives and execution. The Western region under his administration paraded several enviable records. First television station in Africa, first real estate in Nigeria, first high-rise building in Nigeria, first modern sports stadium in Nigeria, first agricultural settlement in Nigeria, first modern civil service secretariat in Nigeria, and first industrial estate in Nigeria. His face is on 100 naira denomination as a mark of honor for his distinguished services to his country. Western Spring Television identifies Obafemi Awolowo as a major character in history.
Thank you for staying with us. And I've been talking about opposition politics and the allegations made by those in the opposition that the government of the day is doing everything, to disrupt and to kill, the place of opposition in the country. And the latest, the allegation made by P2B of the Labour Party, the presidential candidate in the last election, who even said if they are allowed, they will put problems in families. And then we have Prince Dinodemi virtually speaking with us and architect Gokomi Godwin. But then, I know you are going to answer on the third, architect, but let's go to Prince Dinodemi. Are you with us, sir?
Yes, I'm with you now.
Yes, I'm sure you heard your statement who said that the PDP is dead. What you are moving around with is carcasses. You agree?
Yeah, I was trying to respond to that opinion when the line went off.
All right.
And what I said was that, yes, crises are bound to happen anywhere and at any point in time. But the best way and the only way to know a party or how strong an individual is to be able to come together and resolve whatever is the crisis. And I'm saying, and I insisted, that PDP has become a brand, it's not going to die. Just like I said yesterday, PK, who is perceived to be the major opposition in this crisis, still called stakeholders to assure them that PDP will not die. And we are on it. So, and just like I said, 24 hours is a long time in politics. Anything can happen. And we hope that by the time we have our Congress, whereby we will elect new officers of the party, latest by November, new faces will show up and perhaps redirect the party and make sure that, we become a strong opposition, Nigerians know us to be. So that we are a carcass is just an opinion. We know we are not going to die. We will come back together. We will come together and form a formidable opposition. Very, very soon. It is an issue of semantics. If you now say you accuse and you blame, I don't want to go into the English or the meaning of blame and accusation. I don't want to go into that. All that I want to say is that, yes, the president might be strategic in his own pattern and his own way of destabilizing political parties so that, they do not form a formidable opposition to his ambition or to his second term. And that is normal. A clever politician will do that. A strategist will do that. You don't need anybody to teach you this. And I give it to the president that they have done it successfully. And I'm now saying that, yes, the way and manner he did that may be quite different, according to the political party. In Labour, while he may be the initiator of the crisis, while he may be the main reason why there is crisis. It's a sharp difference from the PDP. What he did is only to add fuel to the already burning issues in PDP, because we created this problem for ourselves. And I've said it. A political party that decision is constitutional, is a constitution, will not know how to discipline its members. Because as a political party, you have flouted your own rules, your own regulations. You have set aside the guiding principle that binds everybody together. And that was the beginning of the crisis. So whatever is happening now is like a kind of a loophole which President Tinubu touched on to ensure that this crisis does not end, at least within the time it's going to contest for second term.
Yeah.
So it's different scenario. You can't compare what happened in Labour to PDP.
All right.
PDP is self-existent.
Point made.
They only added to it. Labour may be the initiator.
All right. And, we have a lot of things to discuss, but I guess we switch the topics right now. Still, not really complete switching, but a new development happened yesterday or thereabout when the Senior Special Assistant to President Bola Tinubu on Public Affairs, Aliyu Audu, resigned from his position. And he has raised concern about the ruling All Progressives Congress APC's push toward a one-party state. In a resignation letter dated June 8 and submitted via the President Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, Audu said, "I write to formally tender my resignation as Senior Special Assistant to the President of Public Affairs, effective immediately." In a follow-up public statement, Audu clarified that his resignation was not an act of rebellion, but a matter of principle and conscience. He expressed unease with what he described as a growing effort to stifle political opposition in Nigeria. Now, let me read what he said, and I quote, "Though I do not align with the PDP, I refuse to be used directly or indirectly as an instrument to reduce Nigeria to a one-party state. That would be a betrayal of both divine favor and democratic principle. If we now begin, by the way, criticize the current administration's approach to dissent, warning against authoritarian tendencies reminiscent of past regimes. If we now begin to silence or crush opposition simply because we have the upper hand, then we are no different from the very system we once criticized Obasanjo for in 2003. Prince Denodemi, you are saying the Tinubu should not be blamed, party should take responsibility, but somebody within the camp has resigned and said there is a plan and will not be a part of that. And SSC has resigned. Matters of principle, because you think whatever the president or the government is doing, or the APC is towards a one-party state, and he has tendered his resignation, but you, outside of the camp, you are saying the president should not be blamed.
He saw more than what we know. He is within the system. And from what we can see and from what I know as a PDP stalwart, I maintain my stand that yes, I'm not exonerating the president from the crisis. And I'm not saying that he does not have hand in the continuity of the crisis. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we had our own problems before the president added his own to it. And don't forget, I gave kudos to him for the way he has strategically disorganized all the political parties, even though at the detriment of democracy.
Right.
But I have not exonerated him. So if the young guy resigned because of what he perceived as the presidential act of, bustling all the political parties to become one and join the APC, yes, that is his right. And I give kudos to him. I give him credit for trying to uphold the tenet of democracy in Nigeria. So I'm not exonerating the president. I'm only saying the system and approach he used for each of the political parties to maintain and create the crisis are quite different. PDP, self-created, he added to it. Labour, he may be the initiator of the crisis. And I don't know of any other political party that is stable. But one point is clear. Even the APC that everybody are rushing to join now, just like Udume rightly pointed out yesterday, during Jonathan's time, this was exactly the scenario. Virtually all the governors pledged their loyalty and support for Jonathan. But what happened at the end of the day, he lost. And what that tells us is that individuals and all these governors joining APC will not translate to victory in 2027. The election is going to be between Nigerians and the president. They are going to weigh his performance alongside security, inflation, economy, health, education, and everything that he promised, even though he did not promise them anything. But at the end of the day, as the leader and head of the nation, the Nigerians will still ask questions. So it's not about disorganizing the opposition. You don't need to tell an individual in this country that he's hungry. He feels it. He knows it. And at the end of the day, he knows the right time to redefine his own destiny. So that is why I'm not scared about people claiming to join APC or, saying they want to go and join Mr. President in the organizing the country or in the renewal.
I will answer your question, but you will permit me to first ask you a question too. You were not satisfied with my response to a particular question. You posed it to my brother, Prince Dion Odeyemi. Are you satisfied with his response? Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. I align entirely with the response of Prince Dion Odeyemi. And that's exactly what I said earlier also. Okay? That we are not blaming this man. We are taking responsibility. In fact, I am beginning to change my mind from this point. That perhaps with what Prince Dion Odeyemi just said, that they recognize that the one in PDP is self-inflicted. The moment you know your problem, you are already beginning to address the solution. So that's the difference between blame and allegation that I was saying. He also said something, and I'm not going to answer differently because you are posing the same question to him a second time in a different way, and you now also want me to answer that question. That is there anything deeper about what that Aliyu Audu did, and that the person that nominated him earlier on, Ajurin Galale, had also earlier resigned. Look, there is a Yoruba proverb that says, "Enito weju lerumba." Yoruba.
I told you before, you should have done that.
It is he who is clairvoyant that would see beyond what the rest of us can see. These are people who have been in the same household of power with the president, and they are running away. But those from outside, who yet do not know the horror that is inside, are running in there. Who am I, or Prince Dion Odeyemi, to be able to answer that kind of question? You should get Agui Galari. You should get Aliyu.
Everybody is involved. Everybody is involved in the project.
What is carrying you from inside of that place?
Hold on, sir.
Which is supposed to be nice and juicy.
Everybody is involved in the project Nigeria.
Yes.
Just like you are.
Yes.
Then everybody's thought is well respected and sought after. But let me just add one now.
Okay.
And we are running out of time actually.
Right.
Is talking about insiders.
Yes.
Ali Ndume is a senator
yes.
of the Federal Republic.
Yes.
You're chuckling already. And he has said, by the way, I think the APC has always seen him as the black sheep. By the way, he has not really agreed with some of the, even with the National Assembly.
When did he stop agreeing with them?
And what I'm saying is this. He came out recently and said, whatever endorsement anybody can be endorsing.
Yes.
In fact, he said the last summit that the APC had,
yes.
and people were doing endorsement. He said at a point he had to go out of the place because that was not why they are there. And he said it doesn't matter about the endorsement. 22 governors were with Jonathan in 2015, yet he lost. So he might be saying that doesn't matter. Do you see that thought as just a politician who is, not in the good books of the rest of them?
Since he speaks very good Yoruba, finish this proverb. Otaeni. There is nothing that your enemy does that can be so glorious that you want to really celebrate with him.
So Duma is an enemy of the government.
Isn't that obvious that the moment he was not made the Senate president and somebody who was not even supposed to be a senator at all snatched from the back door the senatorial ticket of somebody who already had it and became Senator Akpabio, and ultimately became Senate President.
So it's just the words of a disgruntled
Ali
politician.
Ndume. Just wait. Allow us to talk.
And time is of essence.
Yes, but you did most of the talking. Now, the person that moved that Bola Tinubu, president, should be returned as APC presidential candidate is this Senator Akpabio. Do you think Ali Ndume wants to hear anything from Akpabio? And then the person who seconded that motion is the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Do you think he's interested in all those ones? And Ndume also said something that you should take more seriously. Don't take that his first option more seriously. He said, why did they do that second term ticket like that? First offer of refusal for this president. And they didn't do it for we senators. So the Emilokan thinking has pervaded the entire APC.
For you, that's just a politician.
The man said, and that's the more important thing, that they should have also done the same blanket thing for the senators.
Right, so
that's the more important thing that the man was talking about.
Thank you very much.
That's Emilokan thing.
Thank you very much.
He's there all around them.
Architect
and the APC, mark my word, will implode someday.
When?
Because, before the elections, because during the primaries, once their primaries are ongoing.
You are a canon. Is that a spiritual prophecy?
This is a political prophecy,
okay,
but I can assure you that I am experienced in politics enough to know that will happen.
We must go. Thank you very much. Prince Inodemi, do you see it as well? 5 seconds. That is Ali Ndume's word is just the word of a disgruntled politician. We should not hold you seriously.
I'm happy to have the likes of Ali Ndume in APC, so that what some of us, we don't have that opportunity to be in their midst.
Okay.
But if he is in their midst and as their member is the one opposing them, it is still good for democracy.
Doing the opposition work. All right. Thank you very much, Prince Inodemi, former Deputy Publicity Secretary of the PDP. It's always a pleasure talking with you, Prince.
Thank you very much. I was happy to join.
All right. And of course, Architect Canon Goke Omigbodo. Thank you for your time.
It's always my pleasure to be here. And I greet my brother, Priest Diron Odeyemi. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right.
We see very
this program is not for Osho reunion. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same station. Femi Ojo is my name, and it will be the midweek edition. Thank you, everyone.
For a person like me, for an exile like me,